All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a beautiful Monday on our path to the draft for the 2024 NFL mock draft. It is pick number 23 today. As always, it is your good old boy JR coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada, and in a little bit here on Instagram Live at the All Sports Talk podcast. Mr. Brendan Janot will be here to help us get this party started and everything. So we have pick number 23. We're going to be talking about the Cleveland Browns today. And this is the Minnesota's second first round selection. We'll tell you how they are here in this position. And we're just waiting for Brandon. And there he is. Brandon, what's happening, man?
What's up, man?
How are you doing today?
I'm good. How about you, man?
I'm doing good. I am doing good. Just giving the good folks a little rundown of what the show's going to be about today. So, without further ado, are you ready?
Was that little DX? Was that little DX in it? Oh,
It's just my respects to Triple H and the era that he's taken us.
You got to. I'm ready to play a game.
Let's do this, man. Let's do this. So Cleveland. Put it like this. This was Cleveland's pick. The whole Deshaun Watson thing happened. They gave it to the Texans. The Texans then traded away to Minnesota because Minnesota wanted to get back into the first round. So they gave them multiple second round picks. And now this is the Vikings pick. So we're going to be talking about the Browns, but this is the Vikings pick. And little do they know that they caused a little riff now, because with one of those second round picks that Houston got, they used it to get Stephon. So this pick has a lot of implications that happened this NFL offseason. Like a lot that has happened this NFL offseason. So
this pick is truly the definition of the Spider-Man meme. It has literally been just pointing at each other, just for like just this team had it, and this team had it, and this team had it, and this team.
Yeah, then it went here. So it's all about the Browns today, who the best way I can describe the Browns was after the Nick Chubb injury on Monday Night Football, which we all remember because that it was so bad that they didn't want to even show it on national television. That's how bad it was. Like, you have to go on the internet to find that video. That's how bad it was.
Don't do it to yourself. Please don't do it to yourself. Don't do it.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly. I saw it and I was like, yeah, that's pretty freaking gnarly, man. That's pretty freaking gnarly. And I think at that point, what could happen? What's next? Then Deshaun Watson gets down. What's next? A lot of things just started happening. But as the season went on, we started to see a trend here where Cleveland was actually doing really well despite all this. And how did they top it off? From an unlikely hero that we never thought we would hear from again. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Mr. Comeback Player of the Year of 2023, Mr. Joe Flacco. So the Browns finished 11-6. They had the 10th best offense and the 13th best defense statistically. Joe Flacco ended up being the quarterback to take this Browns team to the playoffs, and only being there for like about a month and some change, like not even that long. He ended up finishing with 1,616 yards, 13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. I know that sounds terrible. It really does.
It's the funniest thing on the planet is the fact that the Browns signed Joe Flacco, and the Jets said they didn't want him after Aaron Rodgers went down. It's the funniest shit on the planet, but continue. It's so fucking funny. I don't.
It's just one of those things. And then Jerome Ford leading the way for the backs with 813 yards and 4 touchdowns. Now, David Njoku finished the team with the highest receptions and the highest touchdowns with 81 receptions and 6 touchdowns. But Amari Cooper led the way with receiving yards with 1,250. So overall, this offense ran fairly well. And that was without Nick Chubb and without Deshaun Watson. But I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to get into the fact that the Cleveland Browns possibly might have had the scariest defense in the NFL this year. Like, they might have had the most talented defense in this year's season. Man, where do I even begin? Jeremiah Owuzu-Koramoah, the linebacker for Notre Dame, finished the team with 101 tackles combined. Martin Emerson, yes, not Denzel Ward, not Greg Newsome. Martin Emerson finished the team with a leading high 4 interceptions. And then Myles Garrett doing Myles Garrett thing with 14 sacks and everything. So, of course, I mean, who else was going to lead that team in sacks other than Myles Garrett, right? Overall, the Browns team, I think in general, I did catch up to them at the end was just the lack of depth on this team offensively. And I think that's what did him in. I think that's what did him in against the Texans in the playoffs. And obviously, CJ Stroud today is a way better quarterback than Joe Flacco was. And I think that was the difference. And it's, and here's the thing. Cleveland had the better weapons. Cleveland had,
that's debatable.
Well, I mean, compare Amari Cooper and David Njoku or Nico Collins and Dalton Schultz. Like, don't get me wrong. They did their thing. But, like, nah.
Still debatable. Still debatable.
Yeah, I get it. But it wasn't, and here's the thing. It wasn't even a lack of trying from the Browns. It's just literally what it was. It was a lack of depth when the offensive line started to fizzle out at the end. That's literally what it was. There was nothing more, nothing less. It was just the offensive line play was just fizzling out, and it happens. And the Houston Texans took advantage of it. That's all it was. There was nothing more, nothing less. It was just the Texans took advantage for having home field advantage. But I will say this. I think for the Browns still have no pressure, believe it or not, folks, because we didn't expect them to do anything. Well, I'll speak for myself. I didn't expect them to do anything last year. I didn't. The crazy thing about it is, I still don't expect them to do anything this year either. I know that sounds weird because it's like, yeah, I mean, given the fact that their defense, was amazing, I just think it all relies on one man, Deshaun Watson. You gave him that guaranteed contract. I mean, fully, Kirk Cousins. You Kirk Cousins his contract. That's what you did. And would I be harsh to say that he hasn't even lived up to that contract? No, because he hasn't. He hasn't lived up to that contract. And now the fact that Joe Flacco took this team to the playoffs, all pressure's on Deshaun Watson. Now, I don't care if his defense is not as good as last year. I don't care if the weapons aren't as good. This is all on you, dude. Like, I get it. The first year, hey, I get it. You had that thing. Second year, you're still trying to work out. This is the third year. We are 3 years removed from that incident now. It is now time to put your end on the bargain. Because if not, then the Cleveland Browns just have to admit that they made a mistake giving Deshaun Watson and trading all these. Because now, the only team that is reaping the benefits out of that is Houston. Houston's going to reap the benefits because they found their franchise quarterback. They found their running back. They found their receiver. They added another one. They found their tight end. They're building that offensive line. They're building that defense. All because of the fact that the Houston Texans traded Deshaun Watson away to Cleveland. And to this day, the funniest picture in the NFL this year was the fact that CJ Stroud mad dog Deshaun Watson as Deshaun Watson was leaving Cleveland. Like, at the end of the day, I think nobody has more pressure on a player. Everybody can say what they want about Aaron Rodgers, but I'm not going to hold anything to Aaron Rodgers because it's exactly what I said last year. You're going to give this money to a guy who, let's face it, talented, sure, but getting up there in age. Hasn't really do you really want to put yourself in that predicament? And then look what happened. So people are going to put a lot of pressure on a lot of players this year. Some people are going to say Aaron Rodgers has the most to lose. Josh Allen has the most to lose. Lamar Jackson has to prove that he's still a capable quarterback of leading a team. Okay, whatever. I mean, that's them saying it, not me. I mean, after 7 years, going on 8, 2 unanimous MVPs, 1 conference championship appearance, and you still think that he still has to prove himself to be a quarterback, then I can't fucking help you. I can't fucking help you. The fact that there's a lot of things I would like to say, but I don't have the time to deal with it today. Because I got to get ready for Raw after Mania. And that's in an hour and a half. So I got to get ready for that.
Well, it's already on. Yeah.
Well, because you're Central. You get to see. We're West Coast. We get everything last. Is it at least good?
It's got its kinks.
Okay, I can take that. So we'll see. But what I'm saying is nobody is under more immense pressure to me than Deshaun Watson trying to be the quarterback for Cleveland Browns. Because if the Cleveland Browns miss the playoffs, I want no excuses. His weapons weren't the same as last year. The defense wasn't as good as last year. The team wasn't, I don't want to hear it because Joe Flacco physically got off the freaking couch and did what he did to lead the Browns to the playoffs. The man hasn't thrown a ball in over a year. And he got off the couch to lead a team to the playoffs. So I don't want to hear it. To me, nobody is under more pressure this year. No player is under more pressure to me this year than Deshaun Watson. Say what you want about Kirk Cousins. Say what you want about Aaron Rodgers. Say what you want about a lot of these other guys, right? Saquon Barkley, did he make the right decision? Is he going to have the same success in Philly? Stephon Diggs, can he do it in Houston? Sure, of course. Kobe Turner, can he be the replacement to Aaron Donald? Sure, you can keep those narratives. But nobody wants to talk about the real one. Can Deshaun Watson finally put up his end to lead this team back into the playoffs? And I'm going to be honest with you. Right now, where we're sitting on April 8th, I don't think he can. You can give this dude Justin Jefferson, Trent Williams, Quentin Nelson. You can force Jason Kelce out of retirement. You can give him Zach Martin, and you can give him Lane Johnson. And I still think that he will find a way to screw this up.
No fate. Good God. Good God.
Today, where we stand? Nah. I have more faith in Joe Burrow coming back from an ACL injury and leading the Bengals to the playoffs than I do Deshaun Watson. I have more faith in Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew leading the Raiders to the playoffs. I have more faith in Jacoby Brissett winning the AFC East.
Wow. That's fate. That's fate.
Than Deshaun Watson leading this team to the playoffs.
What about Trevor Lawrence?
See, that's tough. Getting to the playoffs?
Wait a minute
Now, if we're just talking playoffs, yeah, I think Trevor Lawrence can lead the Jaguars to the playoffs. It's not going to be easy. And honestly, if the Jaguars make the playoffs this year, it is so not because of him. I want to get that out of the way. It is so not because of him. Okay? It is like, I'll say it once and I'll say it again. When I saw Trevor Lawrence coming out of college, and you heard me say this multiple times, he is a more athletic Jimmy Garoppolo. Less injury-prone Jimmy Garoppolo. When he was in Clemson, he had a badass offensive line. He got badass fucking running backs. He had amazing weapons, and he had legendary defenses. The second that all that trickled down and it was up to him to be the playmaker, He always buckled. And who does that remind you of? When Jimmy Garoppolo was in San Francisco, had amazing offensive lines, had amazing weapons, had a badass running game, had legendary defenses, and the second that all of that went to shit, Jimmy, you just need to make one throw. You overthrow him. The fact that you overthrew Emmanuel Sanders by 7 yards, 8 yards, I don't even think it was possible. Usually it's underthrowing him or you just missed him. The fact that you overthrew him 8 yards out, that's disgusting. That's disgusting. So yes. But again, we're talking about the Browns here. No, to me, nobody's under more pressure. No single player in the NFL is under more pressure than to honor their contract than Deshaun Watson. And that's my take. Go ahead, Brandon. Your turn, man.
Oh shit!
Da-da!
I'm gonna let you watch Raw when it comes on, but wow. Yeah. So
Wait, is that a good wow or is that a bad wow?
it's a holy shit wow.
Come on, 8 o'clock. Hurry up.
I'm gonna leave it as such. I'm gonna just say it's holy shit wow. When it comes to Cleveland, all in all, you know how I feel about this Cleveland team. I've been saying that for a while. Deshaun Watson is the quintessential conversation. If he does not, and I mean this, if he does not make this team a playoff team, the Cleveland Browns will be the dumbest franchise in modern history because you screwed your team up for no reason at all. I get it. Deshaun Watson was a prize at the time. So a lot of people thought that if you traded for him, it would have immediately made you better. But now it seems like that's not the case. And the Browns are actually better without him. It's a crazy feeling. The offensive line is not good. That's the reason why they lost to Houston in the playoff game. That offensive line could not protect Joe Flacco to save their damn lives. Like they just couldn't save him. They couldn't protect him. They couldn't get him right. When the Texans started to create plans to kind of confuse Joe Flacco and get that offensive line out of their positioning, man, it was downhill from there. It was downhill.
Yeah, that second half, it was like, oh, this is done.
Yeah,
and then when he threw that pick six to Derek Stingley, I'm like, yeah, that's enough of that.
Yeah, it was over by like halftime. It was like, yeah, this shit is done. But the Browns are a good defense, but their secondary can be thrown on, which we kind of always knew. It's going to be hard to stop Myles Garrett. I mean, I saw Myles Garrett literally push a left tackle into the backfield, and it was Justin Fields back there. Justin Fields couldn't get the fuck out the fucking backfield. He's like, Myles Garrett threw the left tackle into his lap, and it was like, what you want me to do?
He's probably looking at the cameras like, oh, is this my fault too? Is this my fault?
Mercy Joe was like, what the fuck do you want me to do? Get a chipper out there. Even when they put like a chip out there to help, he still moved through the fucking offensive line. Like, it was just, oh my God, it was bad. It was so bad that game. I was like, damn, Justin. Like, and they still came back and almost won, which is the craziest shit.
That's the craziest thing.
It's the craziest shit. But you traded them so you could drive Kevin with. I guess.
Hey, it works out. But they have a better team now. Yeah, okay.
I fucking guess. But with the Browns, I feel like with the Browns, a lot of injuries happened last year. Of course, you said it. Nick Chubb being hurt is one thing that definitely, just played into the situation. But on top of that, I think the fact that Deshaun Watson they won despite him. And they won even when he wasn't out. Like, they won games when he was the starting quarterback, and he just didn't do shit. So
but when you're paying him that type of money, I don't need. We're winning because of spite of you. It's like, no, we're paying you this money so you can lead. So what we're saying is, our defense is dominant. We want you to be a dominant offense so we can dominate the league.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like, this is why this season is so crucial for the Browns, because you gave up a first-round pick for this dude. A couple. you trade away your pretty much future for this dude. And if this shit don't plan out, your franchise is set back for another 2-3 years. At least. And now you gotta go have to look for another quarterback next fucking season, which you don't want to do. And I know you don't want to fucking do. So this is a very, very important year for the Browns moving forward because I'm sorry to say it, but even though he's a really good head coach, Kevin Stefanski might get fired because of this shit. And it's not his fault. He didn't do anything. He might fall into the Robert Saleh's problem, where it's like, in the Mike Vrabel problem, where it's like, I didn't do this shit. It's not my fault that y'all can't figure out how to fucking make a franchise quarterback work. My side of the ball works. My offense still was scoring without this son of a bitch. I don't need him as my quarterback. I did this with Joe Flacco, who barely played at snap of football up until, what, November?
Black Lion, what's going on, my man? Yeah, up until, like, late October, early November. Yeah.
Like I did this without fucking with Joe Flacco, who didn't even play an ounce of football up until November. Like, I can coach. That's not the problem. The problem is you want Deshaun Watson to be the franchise quarterback, and he might not be that anymore. And that's where this is what.
Well, no. He might not be the answer for Cleveland. He could be the answer to somebody else.
And that's why I say this might be his last chance being a starter. Because
I don't think so.
And here's the reason why I say that. Because the baggage that he brought to Cleveland, he still looks like he hasn't gotten over it. So how much of that is mentally playing on him? And
well, I can imagine that's tough because let's be real, that was a very weird time for everybody.
And we all know football, you got to be mentally there. You can't be checked out at any fucking moment because if one hit, it's over for you. So if he's already mentally like, I'm trying.
Well, I mean, it has to be hard too because you got to think about it. There's still some stuff going on with his off the field issues that is still going on to this day. So I can imagine it does take a toll. But the problem is, I think for Deshaun Watson, I think the best thing that would have been the best for him, if it doesn't work out here, and this is going to hinder his process because he already went through it. He has to take another year off.
Yeah.
You have to figure out your off the field shit before you come to us.
And I think what we don't also say is that he didn't want to go to Cleveland.
No, he didn't.
And I think that's also another thing. Like, he did not want to go to fucking Cleveland. Cleveland was the only dumbasses that would pay him that much money when you knew he had problems off the field and you knew he was going to be suspended for 11 games. And you still paid him money, knowing all of that shit, thinking that next year we're going to get this guy that had been a franchise player for 2.5 years. For a year and a half, he was out of football. How the fuck do you come back from that? Like as a quarterback.
Not just as a quarterback, but as a human being. It's like, okay, well, I have a job to do, but and what's sickening about that is like the suspension was over and his next game was against the Texans. Like that
is the funniest shit that I've ever seen in my life. They knew what the fuck they were doing.
Yeah, of course they knew what they were doing.
Them motherfuckers thought they were slick. They knew what they were doing.
Oh, that's just, you smoke weed, you're suspended for a year. Assaulting women, 11 games. Okay, whatever. Look, I just think for Deshaun Watson, there is nobody that has more pressure than this dude has.
Oh, it's not even close.
Because if he fails, and I'll be honest with you, if he fails, there might be the possibility where his agent and some people in a circle might have to tell him, dude, you got to clear this all up before you even want to continue football. Because if that's always going to be in the back of your mind and you're not 100% in on the team, whether it was with Cleveland, Houston, or anybody else, you're never going to be that guy again that we know that you can be. And I know it sucks because in 1 year you took off 11 games. Another year, the second year you got hurt. So it already feels like you've been missing a lot of time. And you have. But I think it'll be in your best interest if you don't clear this out, then honestly, this is what you're going to be until you clear. Because people don't want to admit this, but sometimes football is a mind game. It's a mind game, and it's already hard enough to win without distractions. Like, let's get that out of the way. It's already hard enough to win in professional sports without distractions. When you have a distraction like this, and here's the thing, it's not as hard and it's not as fresh as it once was. But the problem is that it's still being talked about. It's still being, when newsletters and everything comes out, oh, you settled, but one of them is not settling. And that's the thing. It's just one of those things where I think if you're Deshaun, you literally have to look at yourself like, if you're 100% in on the team, then let that bullshit off the field handle itself. That's what you got a team for, to handle that for you.
Yeah.
Because if you fail here, Deshaun Watson's always going to be in the NFL until he calls it quits, because he's just that good of a quarterback. He's an NFL quarterback. But eventually, teams are going to catch on like, dude, we can't just trust you with this type. And the thing is, when you get this type of money, that's going to be your lifestyle now. But do you really think another team's going to be like, dude, I'm not going to give you this guarantee? You're not going to be. And I get it. Do you probably deserve it more than Kirk Cousins? Yeah, maybe. I mean, possibly. But
I also feel like,
it's.
I think a lot of times with people, and this is the thing about the situation. Houston, when they traded him, they got rid of him because he didn't want to be there. That's another thing. He didn't want to be in Houston anymore. So not only did you not want to be in Houston, you got traded. You went to Cleveland. You didn't really want to go to Cleveland, but they were the only ones that wanted to pay you. And that is why I say there is no. And another thing is, with controversy, perfect example, Michael Vick. When Michael Vick came out of prison and he got signed by the Eagles, he wasn't a starter right or fucking way. He had to sit. Deshaun was thrown right back into the fire like, no, this is your franchise. You got all this money. Go win. And he didn't do it. And I think also happened last year be the way it was with Joe Flacco winning, getting to.
And you got to think the fans. You got to think the fans must be saying the same thing. It's like, well, listen, motherfucker, we played with Joe Flacco, and we're only giving him an eighth of what you're making, and he outperformed you. These last
easily outperformed you. Like the offense looked extremely better without you. That's not good. Like, that's not good. I don't think people understand. That's not a good fucking thing to hear. Like, it's just some shit you.
So of course, fans are probably thinking to themselves too, like, look, we like Deshaun, but if he doesn't pan out, then we have to really consider the fact of, man, we might have to find somebody else here, because this defense and offensive line can only do so much.
And this is why I also felt like if I was Cleveland, I would have been looking into getting Justin Fields. I would have looked into getting Justin Fields. Fuck it. I'll be like, yo, whatever Chicago, now looking at what Chicago got for him, you telling me the Browns couldn't figure something out to get him? Because
it's just, again, now you add another controversy of, oh, well, we added Justin Fields for insurance.
I'd rather that controversy than to be looking at the quarterback room that they do have. And yeah, Jameis Winston is cool, but he's not a starter anymore. So if something happens,
he's a very valuable backup.
He's a hell of a backup, but he's not a starter. Like, if something happens to Deshaun Watson, you're fucked.
Because you have to pray that Jameis Winston can
step it up.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like,
and I think that's the career of Jameis Winston, right? And some days he's here, some days he's here, and then the other days he's here, and then he's here, and then he's over here, and then he's over. And it's like, I need him to just be
steady.
Like, that's it. Just. And there's games that he'll throw 500 yards, 5 touchdowns, and it's like, oh my god. And then next week, 90 yards, 4 interceptions, and I'm like, like, dude, like, understand, this man went 30 and 30.
You know how hard that shit is? You know how hard that shit is?
And in one game, he threw for 6 touchdowns. And in another game, he threw for 4 interceptions.
This man had a game where he threw for 400 yards. He had like 4 touchdowns. He had like 3 picks. It was like, what the fuck? What the fuck is this?
He's consistently that, but it's like,
What the fuck is this? Like this shit is ridiculous.
but I just think for Cleveland, I think they're in a situation where they know. Listen, we know that your defense is good. We know that your offensive line can be better. We know that you have the weapons. And exactly, Cleveland's a different animal. Cleveland is a different animal. And we know that Cleveland has this and Cleveland has that. But ultimately, what we're looking at the Browns is, unfortunately, we're going to look at the guy, the man that wears number 4 in Cleveland. Because that's going to determine if you made a good deal or a bad deal. Now, all this can be fixed if you make the playoffs. Then it's like, okay. And Deshaun Watson looks like Deshaun Watson.
There it is. See, that's not going to fly. Because we know Cleveland can make the playoffs. They did it last year without him. Can they make it with you? Can you be the determining factor of why this team is good? Because if you're not, we fucked up and we need to change this now.
Yeah, absolutely.
We talked about this literally yesterday about Philly. Philly fuck up. They immediately say, we fucked up. We got to correct this. A lot of teams are not like that. That's why they're in the bullshit they're in now. Because they are not.
This is why you're in the mess that you are now.
You are in the shit that you are in now. Because a lot of teams just don't do that. They don't say, you know what, we fucked up. We paid somebody we shouldn't have paid. Again, as stupid as it is, Sean Payton's like, I didn't pay Russell Wilson all this goddamn money. Y'all did. I don't want him to be my quarterback. So we got to take an $85 million cap hit. We got to take an $85 million cap hit. Because I do not want him to be my quarterback. I respect that. I do. It's stupid, but I respect it.
I understand the reasoning behind it.
I understand, but it's just like I'm not surprised about how.
If the Browns come in last, do they clean house? I don't think you have a choice.
The problem with the Browns, and this is the thing about the Browns.
No. This is why I say I don't think you have a choice, because they're always going to be competitive. But that's not the point in the NFL. The point in the NFL is to win a Super Bowl, never just to be competitive. And the Browns have been that team now that have been competitive for the last 4 years, where it's like.
And you also fall into the point where you're in the toughest division in NFL. That is the toughest division in the NFL. Pittsburgh is going to compete. We know this. Cincinnati's getting Joe Burrow back. They're going to be better. We know this. Also, Pittsburgh. I mean, yeah. And, Baltimore. Baltimore literally was in the AFC Championship. And probably can get back there this year.
Pittsburgh, for all their miscues, made it.
Made it to the playoffs. If Joe Burrow doesn't get injured, they probably take Cleveland's spot. So
it's just
you're in the toughest division. You cannot not only not make the playoffs, you can't finish last. And like I said, Kevin Stefanski, as good as you are as a coach, you're gonna take the blame for it. It's not your fault. It really isn't. But because of the team they gave you, so
that's on you. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's if the Browns come in last, I don't see how you have no other choice than to clean house. You have no other choice.
To this point now, yeah.
And here's the thing. What's cleaning house? To me, cleaning house is, okay, you can keep a prime player, but everybody else?
Miles Garrett, that's it. After that,
I'm going to be honest with you. He's your biggest asset. I would try to see what you can get.
Why are you sounding like me, sir? Why are you?
He's your biggest. You have to get what you can survive. You can survive with an Amari Cooper. You need a receiver. It's hard. Believe it or not, I think to me the hardest positions to find, or the 3 hardest positions to find in the NFL, position skill wise: corner, wide receiver, and tight end.
Yeah.
Those are the three. So you might as well keep Cooper because you got him on a good deal. You might as well keep Jerry Jeudy because you got him on a good deal. You might as well keep Elijah Moore because you got him on a good deal for now. For now. So, and that's the thing. That's another thing. We added another weapon for Deshaun Watson, Jerry Jeudy. Now, I know people are going to look at that. It's like, well, how much can he help? Don't you think Jerry Jeudy needed to change the scenery too? So there's another guy. So I just think at the end of it, I think for Cleveland, they need to figure this out. Because coming in last for Cleveland is not an option. Hell, coming in third is not an option. You should be better than the Steelers. You should be better than the Steelers. You should be able to compete with Cincinnati. Baltimore might be a different story. I get that. And again, it's because they went to the AFC Championship game last year. So that might be a little too. And here's the thing. Sure, did they lose some players in free agency? Yeah, but they also gained some too. So it's not like it's a total bust for them, right? So for Cleveland, it's just coming last is not an option. And if it isn't, and if it does happen, then yeah, I agree. It's time to start this bitch over in the toughest division in the NFL.
Immediately.
Now speaking of cleaning house, I will say this: free agency wise, it was a little surprising. Sion Takitaki, he's now heading to New England. Joe Flacco is now gonna head to Indianapolis to work with Anthony Richardson and all that good stuff. So I think what Indianapolis is saying, Anthony Richardson's our starter, but we have Joe Flacco just in case. Harrison Bryant, the tight end, is now coming to Vegas, and Anthony Walker Jr. is now heading off to Miami, so Miami finally gets some defensive help. But Quentin Jefferson, the defensive tackle from Seattle, Devin Bush, the linebacker from Seattle, they're coming. And then, as you mentioned, Jameis Winston, the backup for, well, I don't know. I mean, the quarterback for New Orleans last year is now going to be backup to Deshaun Watson. And they were able to re-sign Zadarius Smith, Shelby Harris, and Maurice Hurst. Now, above all that, here's the crazy thing about it. This team still needs help. I think that's the craziest thing about it, that this team still needs help. Where are they going to get it? I don't know. But I think they are in a position, that, hey, you're not going to select here. So you got to do something in the second round. You have to do something in the second round. My advice to them, try to get the best offensive lineman that you can or best freaking edge that you can, because it's not going to get easier from here.
Oh, God, it's not.
Because it can only go worse from here now. So, Clowney's gone. And it's just a lot happened for Cleveland. And the thing is, we were saying that last is not an option. But the problem is, it could be a reality by the end of this year.
A fast reality.
So they have no time to screw around. So, Brandon, before we make our selection, any final words for the Browns before we make the next selection for Minnesota?
For the Browns, do I think they can win the division? Yes. Do I also think they can pick first next year in the draft? Yes. It depends.
It just depends.
It depends. It sucks that it depends on the Deshaun.
Because there's no middle ground for Cleveland, right? It's either going to be really great or they're going to be really terrible.
It really fucking isn't, and it's just like you gotta figure this out. And I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if they do. I because you're literally relying your whole offense on Deshaun Watson. You don't know if Nick Chubb is gonna be able to even come back. So now you gotta look for a running back. You don't know if this offensive line can hold up because they couldn't hold up at the end of the season because they kept getting injured. One of the best offensive lines, and now they're getting old. They're getting beat up. It's just you can't continuously rely on that damn defense. As good as that defense is, you can't rely on them every fucking game. It's just like, what do you do? So I feel like right now with the Browns.
Well, the good thing about that, Black Lion, is that,
they don't have a first round pick.
They don't have a first round pick. Now, do I think that running back is such a need for Cleveland? I would say yes, but I don't think you want to go too high if you're Cleveland.
I think you take the kid from Notre Dame in the second, third round if he's still there.
I wouldn't even go second. I would say, hey, if there's somebody in the fourth round worth it, then go for it. Because the Cleveland Browns have way other needs.
Knowing Cleveland, they gonna go for Blake Corum from Michigan. Knowing the ass, I just see it happening.
It's just written in the stars somewhere.
It doesn't feel like it.
It's just written in the stars somewhere. So I agree. So all right, Brandon. So we're back on the clock here. Minnesota's back on the clock here. So we picked for them at number 11. Brandon, remind everybody who you took the Minnesota for 11.
Oh, I took the good old kid from North Carolina, the one and only Drake May.
And I took Talise Fuaga, the offensive lineman from Oregon State. So now it's going to be interesting to see. We're here at 23. Minnesota is back on the clock. So, Brandon, who do you have Minnesota selecting with their second first-round pick?
All right. For the 23rd pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings will select Amarius Mims, offensive lineman, Georgia. I said this when we did this pick at 11. They damn sure need help at the offensive line, don't you think? it's just
Oh, yeah.
God, they need some help at the offensive line position. It would help them. It would behoove them to draft a goddamn offensive lineman. It would definitely help. I like Mims here. I think he fits. I think for what they are, left tackle wise, even guard wise, I feel like they just need a tackle. They need offensive line help, man. This is the one thing about this team last year that doomed them. The reason why Kirk Cousins got injured is they couldn't protect him. They couldn't fucking protect him. It was like once you pointed the Red Sea of that offensive line, it was done deal. They barely could run the ball. They couldn't do a damn thing. And coming from Georgia, where their offense is literally predicated on play action, moving the pocket, trying to get the running game going, if you get Drake May at 11 and you get Mims at 23, you got now two pieces that you can literally build with for the next couple of years with Justin Jefferson, with Jordan Addison, and also now with a pretty pissed off Aaron Jones that wants to run through Green Bay and probably the entire division just because.
Just because.
If you are Minnesota, why not do this? I mean, and this is a good situation for them. Now, I could have went defense here. I looked at the depth chart, tried to make sure I wasn't tripping, thought I wasn't losing my mind. I had to look at the depth chart.
But offensive line is a need. Like, let's not kid ourselves either. It is a need.
It's definitely a need. And I looked at the depth chart, and I'm like, okay, I could go defense here. I could go corner. I could go, defensive end, edge, maybe D tackle. They need some help D tackle-wise. I don't know how much of Jeffrey Tillery can stand up there and be the D tackle for the entire fucking season. But I was like, nah, go with my first pick, and that is offensive line. Just get the damn offensive lineman. Do what you can with that. I also was about to go with the kid from Duke, and I was like, nah, they need a tackle.
Now, the thing is, though, with Amarius Mims, do you tell Amarius Mims, hey, we already got our left tackle in Christian Darrisaw, and do you swing him to the right now?
I think you do. Or you can just have him there. I don't think you have to play him immediately. I mean, you got an offensive line that you can trust for a second, and then once you see what the problem is, you can trade that piece away and put in Mims to be the guy. So it just depends on what you see it as.
Amarius Mims. And don't get me wrong, I like the kid. It's just unfortunate that he got hurt at the wrong time.
He got hurt at the wrong fucking time. But that's another thing. You have pieces on that offensive line. It's not like you don't have an offensive line at all.
You do. It's just, if you're going to, and the thing is with Amarius Mims, and the reason I like that pick is because, well, he doesn't have to play right away, and he can still get healthy. He can still, because I know Amarius Mims can play. He doesn't have to play immediately, but he has to go to a team where it's like, hey, man, I just, we're good. We just need you to get healthy, and then we'll include you, which is totally fine. Because here's the thing. I believe Amarius Mims is going to go in the first round. I really do. The only thing is, what team is willing to take that chance, right?
Yeah.
Now, if he falls into the second, he's not going to be there for a very long time.
Yeah.
So I just don't know. I just don't know. But I like the Amarius Mims pick. I really do. Okay, so for everybody's reminder, I went to Luis Fuoga, the offensive lineman out of Oregon State. So I'm already good. I'm already good here. I'm already good offensive line. I got my right tackle. I got my bona fide right tackle from Oregon State. So I'm fine. I got my left tackle and I got my right tackle. Now, I know there's a question. Is he a right tackle? Is he a guard? I don't know yet, but I can worry about that later. I don't have to worry about that right now. I can worry about that later.
Yeah.
Now, I did the same thing too. I looked at the depth chart. Could I go defensive lineman here? Was Johnny Newman an option? Yeah, he was.
Oh yeah.
He was an option. Trust me, he was an option here when I saw it, and I'm like, oof. Then I said, man, does Minnesota really want to double up on offensive line? No, because there's no room for them. There's no room. Then I thought, do they want to take a chance at quarterback here? But then I saw something in that depth chart where I was just like, yeah, you got to take the best player here. You really do. You have to take the best player here if you're Minnesota. If if my draft went the way it did, I don't see how you just pass him up, because it would be so hard to pass this kid up. So here we go. So with the 23rd pick in this year's 2024 draft, for Minnesota's second first round pick, I selected Terrion Arnold, the corner out of Alabama. Yeah, Terrion Arnold, the corner out of Alabama.
I was about to take him for this pick.
Yeah, I know. I had no choice. I looked at him like, yeah, Johnny Newman is an option. The kid from Duke, was he an option? Yeah. Could have I done the uncraziest thing and maybe took a Bo Nix here? Yeah, that was an option too. But I just looked at it and I'm like, dude, this secondary needs help. This secondary needs help, and Terrion Arnold, I think would fit perfectly with Minnesota at 6 foot, 200 pounds. You know, everything about him from 2023, first team All American 2023, first team All SEC 2023, 63 combined tackles, 1 sack, 5 interceptions, 12 pass deflections. Look, now here's a crazy thing. Everybody likes Kool-Aid McKinstry, but I'm on the on the opposite spectrum. I think Arnold is a way better corner than Kool-Aid McKinstry. I'm on that board. I'm on that board. I'm on that wagon. Yeah, I know it's a weird wagon to be on, but it wouldn't be my first weird wagon. All right, it wouldn't be my first weird one. And I just think for Terrion Arnold here to go to Minnesota, you know you're going to get plugged in right away. You are, man. If TA lasts till 23, I'm gonna be pissed. It's just one of those things where it's just. I think that's just how it fell for us. Well, that's how it felt for me. That's just how it felt for me. Because for the other ones, it was more scheme, scheme fit. I think Arnold is a perfect fit here for Minnesota because Minnesota needs that plug and play. They need somebody that's going to be able to go in and now, is there high expectations for Arnold? Probably not. But I'm willing to bet that he's going to exceed those expectations after his rookie year when he has a good rookie year. And, 5 interceptions is not nothing to like overlook. He knows what he's doing. It's just unfortunately there were some times this year where he didn't look like he didn't know what he was doing. And I think what hurt him the most was his over aggressiveness to kind of get beat sometimes. But that's okay. You can coach, you can fix that. You can fix that. That's easy to fix. Now to try to do everything else, that's up to you. That is up to you how you want to put him in. But I think Terrion Arnold here going to Minnesota, you plug him in, He's your starter day one, and then you leave round one with 2 starters immediately. That you don't have to worry if they're going to sit. They're going to play right away. So I got Terrion Arnold here, corner from Alabama.
He's still on my board. I got a lot of people left on my board. Good God almighty.
And we're already at pick 23. So I mean, there's again, you can't draft everybody. You know, some players are gonna fall out of the first round. It happens. It happens every year.
It happens. Yeah, I got some people on my board still, but I looked at Minnesota and I was like, God, I want to go cornerback so bad. I looked at that. I'm like, God, I want to go cornerback so damn bad, but I couldn't do it. I'm like, I do believe they need an offensive lineman. You took one early, but I took a quarterback because I'm like, there's no way in hell you're going to sit there and tell me Sam fucking Darnold is going to be the option for Minnesota. That sounds so fucking dumb. Like, I just can't see it. I'm like, I don't give a shit how much Colin Cowherd thinks he's now about to hit his peak. Is 7-year luck. I don't know why you think that, but whatever. I just don't think Minnesota's going to ride with Sam Darnold. I just don't think that. Maybe they do take a quarterback in the second damn round. Maybe Bo Nix does fall. Maybe J.J. McCarthy falls. But I do believe they're going to take a quarterback.
But now here's the thing, right? But here's the thing, right? Who's to say that they don't take a quarterback? Because as we talked about, they now have picks 11 and 23.
That is true.
That is draft capital for a team, let's say, because Chicago's going quarterback. You don't trade Justin Fields if you're not going quarterback, right?
That's true.
Washington's going quarterback. You don't trade Sam Howell if you're not going quarterback.
Very true.
Now, here's the thing about New England. Are they sold on one? Or would they finesse someone? Is Minnesota an option? Whoops. Is Minnesota an option? I know, I got to get a new one too. It is that time of year. I got to get a new stand too. But no, I mean, if you look at Minnesota, can you call New England and say, hey, if you're not sold on a quarterback, we are. And we're willing to give you the picks. But now here's the kicker. What does New England want? Because we're talking about the number 3 pick. Now, would it surprise me if they got more than what Chicago gave or what Carolina gave Chicago? Honestly, no, it wouldn't surprise me. Because remember, New England has the pick. But Minnesota, and I think that's why I think as we get closer to draft day, I wouldn't surprise me if Minnesota trades with New England or Arizona. But now here's the thing. If you're New England or Arizona or any of these teams, it's like you're about to trade away once, maybe not once in a lifetime, but you're about to trade.
Your quarterback is like a little questionable, but the receiver.
But the receiver, the offensive line, the defense, you're about to trade. It's like you're about to tell your fans, we're going to pick up an extra first-round pick, but we have to sacrifice a Marvin Harrison Jr. We have to sacrifice a Joe Alt. We have to move away from this or that.
Yeah. I can definitely see Arizona. Arizona already has, like, a pick late. I can definitely see them saying, let's sit back. Let's take the 11th and 23rd pick, and we got the 27th pick.
And that's the thing. Like, what's the price, right? And Black Lion gave us one right here. 11, 23, next year's first, and probably a 5th. But see, I think the kicker is, well, Carolina gave Chicago a player. A really good one. Yeah, at that.
That's where the
A really good one. So you don't think New England could be like, hey, instead of your 4th, 5th, or whatever you're trying to give me, can you give me a Harrison Smith? Can you give me a something?
Yeah, when it comes to Arizona, the picks are cool, but I also need something too. And that's the thing. Like, I'm giving up maybe Marvin Harrison Jr., maybe Malik Neighbors, and I'm not possibly getting shit back in return outside of that. I gotta hope and pray they.
Is it possible that Rome Oduzin could fall? Sure. But that's the biggest risk that you're willing to take.
It just that is a shaky situation.
It is, but again, it's just. But you got to think, teams. It's a copycat league, right? The Patriots are probably thinking, well, Chicago got a player. Why can't I get a player? And again, yeah, it's like, well, we're only going from 11 to 3, but Carolina went 9-1, 8
Also,
spots, the same number of spots, and they got a good player out of it.
Yeah, but the problem also is New England needs a quarterback too, and we talked about this yesterday. New England does need a quarterback. Now they might not be sold on one, but it's not like they don't.
As the draft is going along, I don't think New England has this. Now I know I took Jaden Daniels at 3 when we did this, but remember, that was early when we did this. As the days are going, New England is acting like they're not sold on any. Now that could be smoke. That could just be,
We gotta also remember, Gerard Mayo comes from the school of Bill Belichick, so this shit can literally be smoking fucking mirrors. We don't know. So I truly believe New England doesn't probably. If New England could travel quarterback at 3, or they could trade this shit. We don't know. We don't know, and I feel like where Minnesota is in a very interesting situation is because if New England takes a quarterback at 3, and this is the thing that people are not understanding also with the situation is like, if you're trading up to 3, you're telling everybody you need a quarterback. You have officially said, I need a quarterback. That is what the fuck I'm, because you're not trading up to 3. We all know you ain't trading up to get.
You're not giving up 11 and 23 just to take Marvin Harrison Jr.
You're not doing it, so you are automatically showing us you need a quarterback.
But now the question is, which one? Like, which one are you so sold that you needed to jump 8 spots to get?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, because the price tag is going to go off of that. We can sit up here all day and say, you can trade this, and that. But the moment you say, I need this, I don't give a fuck what your price tag is to get it. I need everything I want from you because you need this more than I do.
Because New England could just be like, oh, I can take your guy.
I can take your fucking dude, and you just trade me whatever the fuck I want later. Because I'm going to get what I want out of this situation regardless.
I think that's the craziest thing. I don't think... Because the craziest thing is Minnesota and New England sound like a perfect trade partner.
It does.
New England or Arizona, Minnesota, they sound like a perfect trade partner. Because the thing is, if Minnesota trades with Arizona, then what they're telling New England is, I'm willing to call your bluff, and I'll wait one more pick, but I'll call your bluff, and that would be the most fun game that we'll see that Thursday night.
Here's the thing: we know Washington needs a quarterback. We don't know which quarterback Washington going with. Shit can get thrown out. We literally do not know what the fuck the draft is going to be. We say Keller Williams is going 1. Well, they say Keller Williams is going 1. We don't fucking know that for sure. Jaden Daniels might have caught his ass on the board. We don't know. Drake May might have shocked everybody and jumped up. Chicago did take a North Carolina quarterback before. They probably do it again. We don't fucking know.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We don't know.
And that's the thing. Like, once the first pick is done, now it's like, okay, Washington, you're on a clock. Now, do you still have Keller Williams on the board? If not, do you go Jaden Daniels? Do you go Drake May? Okay, third pick.
Or who's to say that Washington will throw a curveball? Michael Penix Jr. And it's like, what? And it's like, well, that happens. It happens.
Like, what the J.J. McCarthy, motherfucker, what? We've seen
it. It happens. It happens.
Daniel Jones got taken on the board before any other fucking. We've seen this shit happen. So it's not like it can't happen.
And that's the thing. It's like, and again, Arizona. You could be right about Arizona that they're not so sold on Marvin Harrison Jr. But yeah, that could be the case.
That could be definitely the case. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't take Marvin Harrison Jr.
Now, I will say this though. I mean, Malik Neighbors put it out like he's doing everything in his power not to go to the Giants. Let's put this out there. Malik Neighbors hasn't taken a snap in the NFL. Has literally been on an interview and said, "Yo, they could draft me and I'd be cool with that, but they better figure out that quarterback situation because that Daniel Jones shit ain't gonna work for me." Malik Neighbors hasn't taken a snap in the NFL, and he already said, "Nah, you better figure that quarterback situation now because this Daniel Jones shit ain't for me."
Yo, Malik Davis just telling the goddamn owner everything we've been saying on this goddamn podcast for like the last year and a half. That is the dumbest fucking decision on the planet. You paid the wrong fucking man. Like, it's the
No, and here's the thing. Malik Neighbors tried to be nice about it. He goes, "Yeah, I'll go to New York. But you better figure this fucking shit out."
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, man, I will go. I gotta go because I got drafted, but I'm not fucking happy about the shit. Like, I won't be happy about the shit. Like, let's be real.
Like, I could be real too, you know. Like I could be honest about my future too, you know. But I just think I think for Minnesota, it's like, listen, you don't trade seconds to get back in the first if you're not trying to fit. Now, who knows? Maybe they do stay at 11 and 23. Who knows, right? Maybe they really wanted that 23rd pick. But the fact that it like 23rd, really? Come on. Like, you know,
Yeah.
that's some crazy shit. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think for Minnesota for right now, we'll stick with our picks right now. So Brandon went Drake May and he went Marius Mims as his 1-2 combo. I went with Fuaga and Terrion Arnold as my 1-2 combo, offense and defense, to kind of get this going for them. So you guys let us know what you guys think in the comments, what you guys would do. And that'll do it for today's show. Tomorrow's show.
All in, baby. Woo!
Tomorrow's show. I want to apologize in advance now.
All in, baby. Woo!
Shut up. Shut up.
All in, baby. Woo, woo, woo. Yeah. This is what that feeling is when you go all in. You got nobody to
Nobody. Who's got it better than us? Nobody.
We're all in. What you get? Just Kendricks from the
Eric Kendricks from the Chargers.
It's that all in feeling, baby. How you like it?
You know, and here's the crazy thing about it. Like, I this team, I'm so not disappointed, but I'm just baffled at the fact that this was it, right? Like, you do know that, right? Like, you understand that it doesn't get better from here on out.
It really doesn't.
You know what? And I wouldn't even be surprised if Dallas does do that.
They might draft a fucking punter. What are we talking about? They might go punter.
They just might. And if you haven't noticed, Dallas is on the clock. And Dallas just has a lot of decisions to make. They have a lot of decisions to make.
Who's the fucking running back? Who's the running back?
Rico Dottle. Exactly. Well, I mean, what about Tony Pollard? Yeah, he's in Tennessee now. Well, didn't they go for Derrick Henry? Nah, they didn't even call him.
They didn't even call him, man. What about Josh Jacobs? Wasn't even on the radar.
Didn't even think to look at Aaron Jones's way. Like, hey, he's been killing us these last couple of years. It'd be nice to maybe get him on the team, No. It's just Dallas has a lot going on. And it's not just free agency wise. It's internally. This organization, internally, they have already came out with the whole Dak Prescott situation, which we'll talk about tomorrow. Michael Parsons is apparently a bully, apparently. And Mike McCarthy still has a job. So I can't wait for tomorrow, man. Because I'm going balls deep on this team tomorrow. This team disappointed us last year.
Who's us?
Okay?
Us? Who's us?
Disappointed me because I'm thinking to myself,
there we go.
this is your best chance to beat San Francisco, and you still got your ass whooped.
There we go. They didn't even play San Francisco to do that.
Like, you got your ass whooped on Sunday Night Football.
They were at home. It was all hyped up. Dak Prescott throw a fucking pick to Darnell Savage. It was just like, that's that Dallas shit, bro. I swear to God.
That's that Dallas bullshit I be talking about every year, man.
Dallas shit, dog. I swear to God. That shit was, like 5 seconds in, you were just like, yo, this shit cannot be right.
And here's the messed up part. The second half is like, all right, guys, look. I know the first half, it didn't go the way we wanted, but this is where we turned the game around now. All right, let's go. Cowboys. Yeah. First throw, pick 6 to Darnell Savage. And I'm like, yeah, that's the game, folks. Yo, you could just tell CeeDee Lamb was done.
Aaron Jones last game, second to last game with the Packers was his best game.
Best game of his fucking life.
That shit was so bad. Yo, it's like, what the fuck is this? Yo, Jordan Love went out there and made history. Jordan Love went out there and made fucking history on Dallas.
And that's the thing. I look at this Dallas team and I'm like,
I've never heard a stadium so quiet.
I'm looking at this Dallas team this year and I'm just like, what are you guys doing? Like, Yo,
I've never heard a stadium so fucking quiet.
And who enjoyed it most of all? Stephen A. Smith, man. He enjoyed it the most out of everybody.
Oh my God. Yo, that fucking stadium was quiet. You can hear a fucking pin drop.
Like, dude, CeeDee Lamb face said it all when he was just like, I don't know what you want me to do. And mind you, he was the best wide receiver. He was the best. He was one of the best wide receivers in the NFL this season. No, that's too much, Black Lion. That's too much. Shiloh, Travis, and Shador Zen. That's too much, bro. That's too much.
Listen.
Jerry couldn't handle one Deion Sanders. You think he's going to handle 3 of his kids?
Listen. I wouldn't put it past him. But that's next draft. That ain't even this draft. That's next draft. Like,
that's 2025, sir. Dallas is on tomorrow, and I don't know what to say. I don't, because I'm like, I'm already done with their homework, and I already have my selection. But I'm just looking at this team, and I'm going, that's cool.
I'm still debating on what I'm gonna do with them, because I looked at that depth chart today. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, you could at least try to give me some reasoning for drafting someone for you. You ain't have nothing. I'm like, God, you need everything. What the fuck is this? I was, oh my God. Looking at the depth chart is like, what the fuck? You need everything. That is a damn shame.
Now, here's the thing. I will say this about Dak Prescott. Honestly, for everything wrong with Dallas, it's not his fault. It's not his fault. There's nothing more Dak can do for you.
The problem with Dak Prescott is that he's the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, and that's the fucking problem. If he was a quarterback for any other franchise, he'd be getting Kirk Cousins money tomorrow. He'd be getting Kirk Cousins money tomorrow. And
that's the thing. And that's what I'm saying, Black Lion. Like, it's not his fault what happened to. The problem that happened was the same as always. We hype up this team. Media hype up. Fine, the media hype ups this team.
Who are the we?
I had Dallas winning the division this year, and I said if they do that, there's nothing. There is no team out there that can compete with. Like, there's nothing.
You doomed him from that moment. You doomed the shit out there. You doomed him from that moment. Blame Juan, Dallas fans. Blame Juan for that shit.
I said they were going to win the division, and they did. And then I'm like, you know what? If they win the division with this team, they got this. They should get it. Nope. Fuck no. Fuck no, they don't. Hell no. Hell no. Then Green Bay happened. And here's the crazier thing about it. If Dallas would have beaten Green Bay, I'm pretty sure Dallas would have beaten San Francisco because Green Bay was one field goal away from eliminating the 49ers.
You know the crazy part is? They would have got their ass destroyed by Detroit. It's the fucking craziest shit. Like, they would have never...
Oh, yeah, no, 100%. 100%. Detroit would have gone to Dallas. And it's like, oh, Dallas is going to the Super Bowl. They're going to play the Chiefs. Nah, I hate to break this to y'all, but
I need you to know that shit ain't happening.
I need you to know that Detroit team's pretty damn. You want to know how I know it's damn good? Because if Dan Campbell would have just kicked those field goals, Detroit would have played Kansas City in the Super Bowl. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't care if Travis Kelce was 100%. I don't care if Rashid Rice was the next wide receiver. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I think Detroit would have won the first fucking Super Bowl.
Detroit would beat them. Detroit would have beaten... We're going to talk about Detroit later on. We can't, because I would have been... Detroit would have won. Detroit would have won that game. And it's not even close. Detroit would have won that game.
You know, if Detroit... And you know what? If Detroit would have won the Super Bowl and Skip never worked a day in his life again, good.
Is that like a promise? Like, if he would have...
Do you promise?
Was that a promise? Like, if he would have went on TV and was like, I'm never going to do this ever again, Detroit beats Dallas, I would have been like, you better keep that fucking word.
If Mike Florio would have gone up on... If Mike Florio said, if the Detroit Lions win the Super Bowl, I will never commentate on football again. Do you promise, motherfucker?
Do you promise?
Like, do you promise, motherfucker?
Don't be throwing out any windows like that and saying some shit like that and not keep your word. That's bullshit. Don't do that.
Like, this is like, don't play with my emotions right now. Like, do you promise?
What is wrong with you?
Do you promise? You know, me personally, oh my God, Dallas. They're now I look at Dallas and I'm like, what the fuck are they gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Lose.
12-5, 3 straight years, and nothing. No, that's it. It's so hard. It's heartbreaking. It's frustrating. It makes you say this isn't real life sometimes.
It's a thriller. It's so exciting. It's so amazing. It's the best goddamn thing in the NFL season of all time. Every fucking year, you know there's going to be an NFL draft. You know there's going to be free agency. And then you know there's going to be a Dallas collapse. It's like the 3 things you know it's going to happen.
We're guaranteed 3 things in life. Taxes, death, and a Dallas Cowboys collapse in the playoffs. Like, those are your 3 guarantees in America.
Hey, we just gotta be like, it's gonna happen. Just wait. Like what's the... It's gonna happen. Just wait. It's gonna happen.
Listen, you're gonna have to pay your taxes. That's a guarantee. You're gonna die one day. That's a guarantee.
Yes.
And the Dallas Cowboys collapsing in the wild card round, it is a total guarantee. That is like your 3 guarantees in life right now. And that's like not one stinking freaking playoff win after going 12-5, 3 like not one.
I feel so happy. I'm not mad at the fact that they lose like they lose. I'm so happy that they lose like they lose. At least I can say this for Dallas fans. At least your running back didn't hike the ball to your quarterback this go around. This one was worse. This one was totally worse. Oh, they didn't. At least with this game, you didn't stand a fucking chance. Like
this game was done. This game was done. Once that pick 6 to Darnell Savage happened, I said, "All right, I'm ready for the next game."
Everybody tapped the fuck out. Yo, that show was amazing. Yo, it was the best fucking
Like,
thing.
hey, anybody want to see a movie before the next playoff game? Because I'm over it. I'm over it.
Yo, Dallas gave everybody a second half, and we were like going to sleep. We got some food. We drove to the
I went to go take a dump after that pick six. I'm like, all right, I gotta go take a dump. But you might miss. What am I gonna miss? Another interception? Get away from me! Like, get away! Gotta go.
Oh, that's beautiful. It was amazing.
I
It was
tell you,
awesome.
man, it's just one of those things where. But we'll talk about Dallas tomorrow. Dallas is gonna be a very, very interesting team tomorrow. So,
I'm gonna have so much fun.
oh
I'm
my
gonna have
god,
so much fun.
I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know how to. I don't know how to give them hope. Usually, I like to give Dallas fans some hope. I don't know what to say to you guys this year. I don't, because Rico Dodwell is your starting running back so far. Like, who is Rico?
You're going to be in the top 10 of the draft picks this year. Woo! That's the best hope you can ask for. Is to hopefully be in the top 10.
Yeah.
That's the,
And then we got some messages. Before we do, we do have some messages from our YouTube page. Jack, always nice to see you. And did I see Wi-Fi's videos on JR5? Hope it happens. You know, I think for me as a Raider fan right now, I'm just gonna be in that mindset that we're gonna just stay at 13, and we're gonna do what's best for our team right there. If we can magically get Jaden Daniels, fine. But I'm pretty much on that train of we're gonna stay at 13 because there's only literally 17 days from the draft. So I hope. I mean, a lot can happen, but
I don't think you guys move up.
I think I'm pretty comfortable. Like, you know what?
Yeah,
Let's just stay.
I truly believe you guys might get Michael Penix. And if that is the case, you guys have won the fucking draft. I told you this before. He's my number one. Like, I don't give a shit what people say. You could have Caleb Williams. You could have Drake Mays. I don't know why the fuck J.J. McCarthy's even in the conversation. Okay. Bo Nix's and all them. But there is not a goddamn quarterback.
And I'm going to be honest with you. Would it be a little high for Michael Penix at 13? Probably. But but does it make sense that you had to do it? Yeah. It does make sense.
And think about is it too high part is the fact that what is too high?
Too high, I think, to me is
because all of this shit is still potential. We don't know what the fuck.
Yeah, right, and that's what we're going off, right? It's just all potential, right? But
and you could draft someone, at number one, and they could literally shit the bed for 3 years straight. Trevor Lawrence, and you could draft someone and shit the bed 3 years straight, and you'd be like, well, what the fuck is this?
No, there's never such thing. Well, okay, let me take that back. Majority of the time, there's no such thing as a short thing. Majority of the time.
Yeah.
Now, the crazy thing is like there is some times where you just look at a player and you're just like, yeah.
Jordan Travis, go ahead, because you had this little soliloquy, yesterday about Jordan Travis. I told you Jordan Travis actually is. You had a little.
I think for me, when it comes to Jordan, the thing that gets me is I have that same weird feeling as Anthony Richardson that I did last year, which is not a bad thing because apparently it worked out. But the thing is, Jordan Travis isn't Anthony Richardson. And Jordan Travis has a little bit more experience, so you would think I would be comfortable with this, but I don't know. I look at Jordan Travis and I'm just like, maybe. But I don't want a maybe that early. I don't know. I like the kid. Don't get me wrong. I like the kid. And I think, if he goes to the right situation and they are patient with him, yeah, I can see Jordan Travis being a really good quarterback in the NFL. But it's just, who's the team that it has that type of patience?
You got a couple.
But the thing,
Buffalo is one. if you truly think Josh Allen might become a declining quarterback in the next couple of years without Stephon Diggs, you can definitely draft him. It's all about making him sit, and I think that's the key.
I think that's the key, right? I mean, if you're Seattle and if he's there in the third, is he there in the fourth, and he's there in the fifth, and you're not sold on Geno Smith, do you look at a Jordan Travis and go?
I'll be honest. Dead ass honest. If you're Chicago and you draft Keller Williams and the shit ain't going like you think it's going.
And I know people will think that's such a crazy thing, but Washington did it with RG3 and Kirk Cousins. I mean, it is what it is. But it's just, yeah, if you're a team maybe like Seattle, where it's like, you know what? Maybe.
New Orleans.
Maybe. But I'm just saying, first round, second round, I don't know about all that. Fourth round, third round, fourth round, fifth. Oh yeah, you can take a flyer. You could take a flyer. I don't not like the kid. I do like the kid. I get this weird thing that it's like somebody has to be really patient with him. And in today's NFL, it's so far in between few on who will be patient with him.
But I was saying he's a better thrower of the football than Anthony Richardson is.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah, without a doubt, absolutely.
I just feel like, yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, it's like Hayden Hooker. You know what I'm saying? It's like Hayden Hooker. Like, he can start, but you might need to like be careful about how you start him.
I just it's tough because do you see the potential? Yeah, I see it too.
I think if he doesn't get injured, I think Jordan Travis is in the first round. If he didn't get injured this season,
I still wouldn't do it. I me personally, I still couldn't do it because I'm like, there's a lot of questions I still have as far as why wasn't FSU as successful with you under the helm? What happened? Why did your mechanics start to get weary in both of your last years? Why did your mechanics start to drop at the end of the year as opposed to the beginning of the year when they could never get picked up again? Why did your vision get almost as worse from your sophomore year to your junior year to your, it's just there's questions I have to ask. Was it that your team didn't give you enough time? Was the injuries too much to overcome every year? What happened? I need to know. I need to know. I would say if I'm comfortable, for me, comfortability wise, if he's there in the fourth, I do it. Just to have an emergency, just in case.
Just in case.
But first, second, third, that's still a little too rich for me.
Funniest part is if the Raiders don't take Michael Penix Jr. 13, it'd be the funniest shit if Jordan Travis get drafted by the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we've done some weirder shit. Trust me, we've done some weirder shit. I am. Listen, you cannot hurt my feelings in this draft. I have seen the Raiders do some amazing shit in this draft. One of college football's greatest wide receivers ever, Darius Hayward-Bay. You can't hurt my feelings, bro. You can't hurt my feelings. But that's going to do it for today. As always, Black Lion, Jack, thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Thank you so much, for always tuning in and everything. Everybody that'll watch this video later, thank you so much for tuning in. But tomorrow, it is all about Dallas. The Dallas Cowboys are on the clock. It's going to be a fun episode. I know this much. I know Brandon always looks forward to this show, to this episode every year because he knows that if there's not a third, if it's not pick 32, he knows that something terribly wrong has happened, and he is ready to pounce on that. So, like I said, Jack, one of the greatest college football wide receivers ever, and Michael Crabtree, Darius Hayward-Bay. You can't hurt my feelings, bro.
free agency pickups and shit. And Dallas had what, like 2 names?
I got one name. I think the better question is who didn't re-sign with Dallas is probably the better question. Who didn't re-sign with Dallas?
Who said, yeah, I'm done with this shit. I can't.
Like even Ezekiel Elliott probably got a call like, "Hey man, do you want to come back to Dallas?" No.
I'm good.
You know,
I'd rather sit out. I'd rather sit out this season.
like, ooh. Listen, you can't hurt my feelings when it comes to the draft, Brandon. Damon Arnett, Patrick Queen, Cleve Farrell, or Devin White. Can't hurt my feelings, bro. Or Dexter Lawrence. If you know Brandon, can't hurt my feelings, bro. Hey, man, can't hurt my feelings, bro. I'm good. Disappointment? Not even in my vocabulary when it comes to the draft. Not even in my vocabulary, bro. Expected is in my vocabulary when it comes to the NFL draft. It's going to be fun. Tomorrow's going to be fun. But thank you guys so much. Oh, man. Yeah, that Wilson. Yeah, I mean, but you know what? I will say this. At least Tyree picked it up at the end of the year compared to the other guys who didn't want to pick it up at all. So I'm willing to give Wilson a shot here. So we'll see. But as always, Brandon, it's awesome talking to you, my man. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. We shall see you guys tomorrow for the Dallas Cowboys. Same time as always. Until then, please take care. Please have a wonderful night. Be safe. Peace.